Slamdown is sponsored by BODYSLAM and Jam and WWE Smack Talks. Welcome to Welcome to Slamdown, hosted by the one and only Broken William, to talk about total non-stop deletion and cover everything about this marvelous creation by Mad Hardy. So let's get on with the review. Now, I know a lot of people being positive and negative. The best way to describe the whole show, it's a bit like Marmite. You know, you're either going to watch it and laugh at it and enjoy it, or you're going to complain about it. I know there has been a wrestler who's not been too happy about it. Who's been complaining about it, and that was can't remember his name off by hand, but British Bulldog's son has totally complained about how total non-stop deletion takes the mickey out of wrestling, and went on a big rant about it. But in my eyes, it's something different. You know, it's not the status quo. It's something a bit corny. It's something not to be taken too seriously. It was whole aim to be was it was like a comedy wrestling show. That's the way I'm going to put it. A comedy wrestling show. You know, that whole apocalypto was meant to be entertainment. You're meant to laugh at it. You know, a boat hitting someone. It's meant to be funny. You're meant to just enjoy and laugh. And I'm sorry, but if you didn't find it funny, if you're such a hater that you're going to moan about it instead of look at the positive and negative and have a giggle about it, there's only one thing for you.
Delete! 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 Delete!
And that's all I can say. Right, but seriously, let's get into it. We saw the start off match with Baby Maxwell. I'm trying to keep this a serious review without laughing about it, because to me it was just funny. We saw Baby Maxwell have his first match. Right. This kid is not even one, and he's had his first match. And not just having his first match, gets the victory. Now, I like the way they've done it, but I would have gone slightly differently with it. I would have actually had Disco Inferno have the match and lose to the match. You know, because think about it. You could have had Disco doing all this, and Max will just sit there and go. Because he does do it like that. and then pin disco. It would just give it a bit more of a comedy value. Yes, I enjoyed that what they did with Spud with it, but I think it'd have been more funny to have Disco Inferno do that and then had just kept the Rockstar bit for later on. But Senor Benjamin tasered Rockstar Spud, and then Baby Maxwell got the victory. After that, we had Sienna complain about that Rosemary was banned and she wants a title for the match for the women's title. This bit I did mark out a little bit. We saw ODB answer the challenge. Now, I think ODB could still possibly have a career with TNA, and I really hope she comes back because I love the character. I know her wrestling ability is not top quality, but her character and everything else makes it. We saw her go against Sienna and did a few little blotches, I'm going to call. You noticed a few things and go, right, that didn't look like she hit her hard. But you got to remember, ODB is actually retired from wrestling. So for that, I will give her due. She's probably got a lot of ring rust, but I still think she could have a career with TNA. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. The match itself, I want to give it a 4-star, but because of the blotches, I can't. So I'm going to have to be fair and give it a 3.5-star match. I'd happily watch it again, to be honest. What else did we have? It's trying to remember the whole card because all I can remember is Apocalypto. It was, yeah. Right. I'm trying to be serious about doing this review about Total Nonstop Deletion, but I can't be serious. I'm really struggling not to laugh about it because it was just that funny. And if you didn't find it funny, what's wrong with you? Seriously, it was just meant as a bit of entertainment. But anyway, after that, we had the start of... Yeah, that was it. It was Bobby Lashley taking on Eddie Edwards. Always getting them two muddled up at the minute. Against Eddie Edwards, but it ended up with no one winning. The match continued and continued. Apocalypse, and it was like, right, okay, what happened to that title match? Oh, okay. It did feel a little bit scrambled at some sections, but we saw that match started, and he went through the door for a table, and then it sort of Matt Hardy announced that Apocalypto was starting. So we saw, it went for Apocalypto, but then some cutscenes went to the Eddie Edwards and Bob Lashley match. Apocalypto. We had the Express of Rock and Roll. Still can't believe they turned up, but to be honest, for old wrestlers, they didn't look too bad. Who else do we have turn up? I'm trying to remember all the teams that were in the tag team. They had another team, but I didn't know who they were. I'm going to have to Google this because there was a lot of tag teams actually in Apocalypto, but a lot of them, I didn't have a clue who they were. I know they did some comedy, but I am going to have to Google this because I'm really not sure. So I'm just going to Google this right now. This is the thing about live. You can't stop a recording and then go and have a look and then go back on and go, yes, the teams were, And like I said, I don't. And the reason I like doing things live is because I can have more interactions with you, the fans. And this is what this whole show's about. Just googled all the teams in Total Nonstop Deletion. Oh, here we go. They give us a Wikipedia. I sort of want to see. Right, so we had the Broken Hardys, the Helms Dynasty, Rock and Roll Express, Decay, the Bruiserweights, which was John Scarlett and Corey Hollows, the Ugly Ducklings, which was Larry Loost, Cold Con, and Rob Killjoy. So the Colbert Cognon, okay, he's been around the independent circuit. He's also been, okay, so not big time, but just, yeah. The Bravio brothers that were there, Aaron Biggs and something, and Rockstar, Spud and Swoggle, and the DCC. Okay, this tag team, the What's It Bravo, they have worked. Okay, they've done Ring of Honor, done quite a few places, but I'm trying to think of that team that was right at the end. Oh, they were the Bruiserweights. They got limp right. Okay. So I'm sure they sneaked. No, okay. It must have been the Bruiserweights. Right, that's fine. Right. So the way each elimination, well, the first elimination was the DCC. James Storm stood there with the people from the DCC, and then one pulled the mask, and it was the bloke that supported the Hardys in Final Deletion that got out. His truck was there. They chokeslammed him, pinned him, and the referee was, James Storm, you eliminated, and going, what? He's not with me? It was, yeah, it was quite funny. Then we've seen Rockstar teasing that he's going to have the big guy. And now, I know it was circa going around the internet, people said, oh, the big guy, Ryback. No. It had to be Hornswoggle, and to me, that was freaking amazing. To do that kind of move, brilliant. I thought it was perfect bringing Swoggle in. To have him and Rockstar Spud working together was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Then Rockstar and Swoggle eliminated the Bravio brothers, and then Decay just started going on a rampage, eliminating Aaron Biggs and the other one, Showtime, which was the Dirty Daddy, and Snort Fox, the Ugly Ducklings, and then taking out the Bruiserweights, leaving Decay, Rock and Roll Express, the Helms Dynasty, and the Broken Hardys. Now, a couple of selection bits that we've had in this, which I found hilarious, we saw the return of Freakout. Helms got put in the Lake of Reincarnation and stood on a circle thing. Trevor Lee one side, Andrew Everett, and then, of course, they can't do the Freakout music, but there's something similar playing. And he's going, right, come on, guys. And then goes, that was just awful. And then them two super kicked Helms and fell back in the river. The match continued on. We also saw when, I can't remember who went for the pinfall, but someone tried to pin Matt Hardy, and the boat turned and hit the other person. And of course, they come off the pin of Matt Hardy and start attacking the boat. It was just so bizarre. Really was. You know, there was a moment where Hurricane Helms came in and they were digging a hole to put digging in a hole. And it was a quote about the man with 3 H's likes to bury people, or something along that lines. And then you saw them both sticking the thumbs up, smiling. You know, that was, you know, there was a couple of sort of jabs to the WWE, but then we seen the Rock and Roll Express were fighting the Hardys, which was inside a second ring outside next to a volcano for some reason. Pardon me. And we saw Ricky Morton on like a crane thing in the air, Jeff on the other side. It was, I don't really want to talk too much about it because I want people to go and watch it, but they had an incident like that, and it was crazy. absolutely crazy. It's trying to go through this. It's quite difficult. The Helms Dynasty was eliminated by Mad Hardy in the Hurricane. Work that one out. Rock and Roll Express was taken out by the Broken Hardys, which left Decay and the Broken Hardys, which, of course, fighted it out. Jeff Hardy did a twist of fate right by the volcano. Crazy Steve falls into the volcano, shoots in the air, lands on the mat. Matt Hardy goes for the pin. Now, it wasn't meant to be that serious. It was meant to be light-hearted, funny, and enjoyment, and I enjoyed it. I really recommend people to go and watch it. It was, to me, hilarious, and I could watch it again. I really could. But I want to move on from total non-stop deletion and move on to more of a serious thing now. With TNA. Now, I'm leaning forward now. You know, it's getting serious. Something is about to go down. There's been rumours on the internet that Jeff Jarrett has been meeting with Anthem. Now, I don't know if this is to get background information. I don't know if this is to employ Jeff Jarrett to rebuild TNA. We won't know. It looks like Anthem are doing a lot of investigation and looking at different things. It looks like Dixie Carter has been pushed to the side. Thank you. Which I'm so happy with. She needs to be pushed away from TNA. To me, I do believe Jeff Jarrett, brilliant idea, but what's going to happen with his company? You know, you've got to think about that. The thing, like I said before, the thing that TNA needs to do, they need to re-establish a link with New Japan, so they can do shared also with New Japan, because if you look at how hot New Japan is and the way you'd be able to swap rosters and help each other grow would be an amazing idea. The X Division needs rebuilding. There's a whole lot of work that needs to be done to TNA. So what the best for me, to have the founder that built TNA, brilliant. But creative, I'd bring Vince Russo back. I'd have Jeff Jarrett here at the top, Vince Russo, and then whoever below him. But Anthem needs to be very clever on this. They need to ban Jeff Jarrett from being in the ring. They should tell him, you're not in the ring. We don't want you in storylines attacking people. No. That was TNA past. You are the guy that runs the ship. You're not the person that's going to be in the ship. If that makes sense. So get me on that. And with him filtering Vince Russo, you know, say, getting rid of the crap stuff Vince Russo comes out with and keep the good, it could be amazing. You know, I've got my fingers crossed. I am slightly annoyed that here in the UK now, they're bringing out the TNA app that we have to pay $1.99 for, when we've had watched TNA on telly for years. Now, I am a bit miffed by that, to be honest. The UK has been TNA's biggest fan base. You know, they've sold out the O2 Arena, the Wembley Arena. They've sold out the one in Glasgow where WWE was. They sold that out. They had a very big market in the UK, and to say, do you know what, UK fans, you can pay for an app. It feels like a big slap to the face. They really need to come up and be on television, not be on an app and charge us $1.99 for it. You know, come on. I know people are going to say, well, you pay for the WWE Network. Yeah, I understand that. But, you know, the app's very limited. You know, for me, to make the app worthwhile, it has to be on Xbox, so then I can watch it on telly. I don't want to watch it on my phone. I do not want to sit there with my phone in my hand, looking at a little screen, watching a wrestling product. I want to watch it on my TV, so I'll sit on my sofa and enjoy watching the promotion. So I'm really hoping that they either release it for the Xbox or they do something else, or they give it to us for free until it's on the Xbox. Because if they're going to limit to it the phone, it's not going to be worth my time, and it will lose a lot of UK fans that way. I think it's great that they've said it's going to be on the same day as America. Brilliant, because I can watch it the next day. But we're going to have to wait and see. I was going to do the best of TNA, but to be honest, this year has been awful for TNA, and I don't want to really do a best of series when it hasn't been a great year. So on that note, this will be the last TNA show until we find out what happens in January. So this will be the last show till after Christmas. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it on a Monday. If it's true, if it's coming out on the same day as America, I might move this show around. I might just keep Monday for pay-per-view slots and then move this to when the day we get TNA in the UK. So there is going to be some moving around depending on what TNA does. So I can't give much more than that at the minute. We will be back in 10:15. We'll be back to talk about Roadblock. Yeah. You might not be happy with what I say about Roadblock, but like I said, I'm open, I'm honest, I say my opinions. If you disagree with me or you've got other opinions, please post in the comments. You know, I do read the comments and I do look. But like I said, with Total Nonstop Deletion, you can't look at it as a wrestling product. You've got to look at it as a comedy program. That's the only way you can look at TND. Right, I will be back at 10:15 to talk about Roadblock. This has been everything TND and TNA, and I'll see you then.